Okay, so this is why I stream on both Twitch and YouTube. Since Twitch was giving us trouble yesterday and now it's just like not. This is my next glove. The space that your hand is in is always within the same like 2 or 3 feet distance from your head. To move your hand farther away, you have to move your head. And that just creates some really cool visual familiarity. Each time I draw a hand, it's like I know exactly what that 2 to 3 foot space looks like. I ordered a big block of graphite, a large industrial laser stop. So it's something that you put in the path of a laser. It works like a pencil, so it's still like a soft graphite material, just like this. I'm not sure about the science behind it, but it's cool that I can get cheap graphite in giant chunks. It's really just so precise because it's only this length usually, because you have to place enough pressure on it to get that like kind of pointed stutteriness. You will miss the top and bottom of it because I use that to make some thicker lines so it gets worn down more. Then you can get the whole thing by like rotating. So like if you see me pushing down, I sometimes pull and peel off. My fingers are starting to settle back and it's like stretching open the hand, so I started off like this. It's nice too with this like restraint because they can't go back much farther than that, so I have found the resting pose. There's like orange thread there, really balled up orange thread because I did not sew it properly, but also because it's tilted away from this cool light, whereas these other shadows underneath my fingers are a lot cooler. As it comes into the light, that shadow is receiving light from the other side of the fabric, and that fabric is becoming warm. I just found it really fascinating. So I started making this whole series of gloves, which I would have my friends kind of try on and use, and I made a couple big like apparatuses too that people had to get in and like move around. When someone else uses your like sculpture or something, or activates your object, because I was talking in the last video about activated objects, you don't get to anticipate what's going to happen, because someone else, like anyone other than yourself, especially as the maker of these objects, you have like a set of defined possibilities. But until you like play test or practice, like I'm wearing this, but if I just handed this to Kira, she might wear it in a completely different way, or definitely would. I can see some of the keys again through my fingers, but it's not like super clear where each finger is. Trying stuff and seeing if it works, and then if it doesn't work, I'm editing until it does. That, in a nutshell, is drawing. There's such a straight line on the edge of my palm. My hand just has like a kind of boxy thumb, and that straight line creates such like harsh edges into the world, so I always have a really nice shape like right next to my thumb. Some of these thick kind of contour lines that I just place in every once in a while, and usually they get like moved or adjusted because they're not correct, but they help me kind of define space. They're like a spatial mark. Even if they're incorrect, they guide a form. They make it feel like something's turning. They make it feel like something's forward. They separate two shapes. Maybe you're not rendering value yet. You want to mark that, but you don't know how to like identify that change. And this is just a really good way to do it, are these like kind of harsh, thick lines. Yeah, I've definitely got some goals. It's weird because I feel like I don't ever do it deliberately for like New Year's. I want to like keep doing this consistently, so like streaming, and I'm always aiming to like learn how to be a better professor. Can I gain anything from being like talking with you all and like having consistency in this practice? Yeah, so I guess that's it. Like I want to be a better teacher. I love what these lines do, like when they create kind of active images. It's hard because like on here, I'm not noticing it as much, but like that line I just made kind of moved me. Adrian, this is Lord Fiber who told me about your page. Yeah, have a good stream. Thanks for lurking, and I'm just gonna be talking about drawing. I'm drawing some gloves. right now. Gloves, which I started making at UW actually. I want this, there's like this shape, this like diamond shape between the bottom of my palm and then these like fingertips and this thumb. And I really want that to feel apparent in the drawing as I like finish up, which I think you can see better on Instagram, but oh wow, that's actually really interesting. So it's probably a different sign language than American Sign Language. Lord Fiber says that the sign language is a official language for the country. Kira's asking if it has a name. Like, is it like Brazilian Sign Language? We have like a very limiting accommodations for people who are hard of hearing or deaf because of a lot of people with disabilities working together to have more accessibility options in like the 60s as like a part of a lot of our other social justice movements and things like that. The country had established a lot of like accessibility mandates. It's called Brazilian Sign Language, LIBRAS. Yeah, Kira's talking about how sign language, I'm assuming it's probably the same in Brazilian Sign Language, how it like doesn't directly translate, like grammar is different and like a lot of the ways that you piece together sentences are different in at least in American Sign Language versus English. No, the government does not give public classes here. Is it more image oriented? And like if you talk about like in ASL, if you talk about something small, like a small trash can, you would sign small, or you would like show where the trash can is. Also, I have a question, which is that since it's so important in your country to know sign language, is it something that like hearing people use to communicate at distance or like other reasons?
If you try to put yourself in the visual mindset and not try to understand it as English, but if I go like this, what's cool is that because it's just a finger, it's not gendering.
My fingers were super elongated because of that parallax effect. And instead of like measuring it this way with my hands, I just like lay things on my page. Ruler sometimes if I wanted to find like a really straight line or wanted to find the relationship between 2 points really far, I'd use like a big like yardstick or something to like find points on the same level.